Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Today in Quarantine. I'm your host, Renee Cross, coming to you live from Lincoln, Nebraska, where the sun is actually shining this time and the tank is clean. The sun is shining and the tank is clean. Today is June 1st, 2020, and episode 73 of Today in Quarantine. We've been at this for 73 days. 73. I think that's another prime number. So that's exciting. Yeah, we are very closely approaching the end of quarantine number 2, Quaranta. So that's very interesting to note, is that that's going on. And the world continues to go on. Like I've said on this show before, it's interesting to note that while we are concerned with one thing, the world still goes on with other things. Summer's around the corner. That's still happening. The days keep happening. Although May felt like the longest month, or 2020 just feels like the longest year, time still continues to go, which is reassuring to me. It is reassuring to me to know that there are still some things that are constant and consistent. And one of those things is God and the love of God and the fact that he cares for his people. So if you're looking for something to hold on to today, there it is. God's love is consistent, as it says in the Bible multiple times, but mainly in Revelation. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the thing that stretches from one corner to the next. And yeah, did you know, fun fact, we often say that Jesus' love stretches from east to west. And it's actually very interesting that we use that analogy, because you could have easily said from north to south, but why don't we say that? Well, in the globe, so imagine the globe in your head. When you think of north to south, if you're traveling north, eventually you'll start going south. That's just the way the globe works. No matter how far you travel north, once you get to the North Pole, after you cross the North Pole, you start going south. But when you go from east to west, if I was going to start in Connecticut and go to California, I'd still be going west. If I get to Japan, I'm still going west. If I get to Russia, I'm still going west. If I get to Switzerland, I'm still going west. And even when I come back to Connecticut, I'm still going west. And then I could turn around and do the same thing and go east. West to east, or east to west, it never stops. West never becomes east. East never becomes west until you turn around. And so that's what God's love is. It just keeps going, just around and around, and it never stops. So there you have it. There's another point for you to hold on to today. One of the things that has been on my mind lately is I was talking to a friend, and she was kind of giving me some advice on things to do in this time of pandemic, and police brutality and protests and everything like that. And she suggested that one of the ways you can make your voice heard is through music. And she's like, suggested this to me because she knows I'm a musician. So one of the songs that I've kind of been thinking about in the past couple of weeks is the song. It's number 575 in the Adventist hymnal, and it's called "Let Your Heart Be Broken." So shout out to Mrs. Barbara Flick, the pianist at my home church, who is the one who introduced me to this song because she loves to play it, and now I see why. But there's some beautiful words in this song, and so I'm just going to read it for you. Here it is. "Let Your Heart Be Broken." It's by Brian Jeffrey Leach, and it was actually written in 1975. So, let your heart be broken. Let your heart be broken for a world in need. Feed the mouths that hunger, soothe the wounds that bleed. Give the cup of water and the loaf of bread. Be the hands of Jesus serving in his stead. Here on earth, applying principles of love, visible expression, God still rules above. Living illustration of the living word to the minds of all who've never seen or heard. Blessed to be a blessing and privileged to care, challenged by the need apparent everywhere. Where mankind is wanting, fill the vacant place. Be the means through which the Lord reveals his grace. Add to your believing deeds that prove it true. Knowing Christ as Savior, make him master too. Follow in his footsteps, go where he has trod. In the world's great trouble, risk yourself for God. Let your heart be tender and your vision clear. See mankind as God sees, serve him far and near. Let your heart be broken by a brother's pain. Share your rich resources, give and give again. And that's, once again, Let Your Heart Be Broken by Brian Jeffrey Leach. It's a beautiful, beautiful tune, and beautiful words that go along with it. And it kind of speaks to my reality sometimes when just kind of things in the world, no matter what they are in the world, I kind of like push them aside, and I don't allow myself to dwell on them for very long. But what this song advises us to do is to let ourselves feel it, to let our hearts be broken, because it's once we can break our hearts that we can kind of be put back together again. If Humpty Dumpty never fell off the wall, they could never put Humpty Dumpty back together again. So allow God to break your heart for those who are in need today. Whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your friend, reach out to somebody, ask them how they're doing, and let your heart be broken. Take a second and listen. And yeah, see mankind as God sees, which is hard because we're not God. And yeah, but again, let your heart be broken by a brother's pain. Share your rich resources. Give and give again. And I'm kind of working on an arrangement of that, so watch out for that coming soon, probably on my personal channel. But yeah, that's kind of our encouraging message for today. Take that with you and run with it. Today in quarantine, what have I done today in quarantine? Oh, one thing that I didn't get to mention last week was that over the past couple of weeks, I've actually gotten to buy some musical instruments, which I'm super excited about. As if you know me, you know that I'm a saxophone player. That's what I majored in college. That's what I played. But I also really, really love to play brass instruments. And so this time of year is a time when people are selling their used instruments on like Facebook Marketplace or other places for pretty cheap. And so through Facebook, I got a trombone and a trumpet for about $200 total. And then when I was picking up the trumpet from Facebook Marketplace from somebody's house, I saw a friend who was walking down the street. And this is in a different neighborhood than I live in. And so she was like, hey, yeah, that's cool. You're picking up a trumpet. But there's a guy on the other side of the street that this guy died recently, but he owned like an instrument store. And so he's selling a bunch of instruments. You should really check it out, or just kind of keep an eye out for it because it'll be coming soon. So that I think was on Monday or Tuesday last week. And on Thursday, she called me and was like, hey, he's selling instruments again. You should really go check it out. And I went there, and I kid you not, this guy had like trumpets. I mean, it was his sons who are now doing like an estate sale type of thing. But this guy had trumpets like stacked up to the wall. And by the time I got there, it was kind of down some, but he was selling them for pretty cheap. Yeah, I got a baritone horn and a French horn for $200, which is ridiculously cheap. Um, yeah, considering that like a student level trumpet is about $500, and a student level and I'm talking student like fifth grader. If you buy one new, it's about $400 or $500, and yeah, the guy was just trying to get rid of them, so he's like giving them away for $100 or something. Got some mutes and some stands, so I was really excited about that. And so that's kind of what I spent today doing, was cleaning up some of the cases and cleaning up the instruments, giving the instruments a instrument bath. So I'm officially band teacher level now. But yeah. So yeah, that's kind of been my day in quarantine, or my past couple days in quarantine. My mom says NASA is on your shirt. Yes, and we watched the vehicle attached to the ISS. So beyond my comprehension. I'm so disappointed that I missed the rocket launch on Saturday. It just but it is super cool to know that you're a part of history. You were alive when that happened, and that's a super cool part of what we're dealing with today. So yeah, there you have it. Some good news. And now it's time for some good jokes. I've got some actually good ones today, I think. So just come on, give me a break. Laugh a little bit, please, if you can. Let your heart be laughing for me, please. Okay. Also today in quarantine, I invented a new word. Plagiarism. Get it? Thank you. It's because plagiarism. Okay. Anyway, why do we tell actors to break a leg? Because every play has a cast. Yesterday, as I was walking around, I saw a guy spill all his Scrabble letters on the ground. I asked him, "What's the word on the street?" This one's for all my math people out there. How many times can you subtract 10 from 100? Just once. The next time you'd be subtracting 10 from 90. Oh, man. Have you guys heard about this new restaurant called Karma? There's no menu. You just get what you deserve. Oh boy. A bear walks into a bar and says, "Give me whiskey and cola." And the bartender asks, "Why the big pause?" And the bear says a shrug, and he's like, "I'm not sure. I was just born with them." Oh boy. In honor of NASA, here's one more. Did you guys hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? He just needed a little bit of space. Oh man. The internet cracks me up sometimes. Anyway, thank you for joining us on Today in Quarantine, and we hope to see you tomorrow in quarantine for another episode 74. If you have anything that you'd like me to talk about or you have questions on, please let me know. Contact me in the comments below or in the chat beside. And yeah, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.